What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Alpha Girl Confidence Podcast. This is episode 230, and I'm super excited about this episode because the World Cup starts this week. So today's episode is going to be all about what you can get out of watching the World Cup and how you can actually improve your game from watching the World Cup. And if you're not a soccer player, still watch it because you obviously don't need to know the technical and tactical stuff and that kind of thing, but you can still learn about, in general, like finding role models, women's empowerment, supporting women's sports, and then also just like learning how the best athletes in the world manage the mental game. So it's going to be an awesome event no matter what sport you play or watch playing. But if you're a soccer player, then watching the World Cup, if you don't watch it, what in the world are you doing? So with this episode, we're going to go deep into what you can get out of the World Cup, what to pay attention to in order to improve your game. And I was going to do like some Australian accents with this episode, but as I was practicing, yes, I actually was practicing. I even YouTubed a how to do an Australian accent video. And I was like practicing and it didn't really go well. The only words I can say is like, all right, mate. That was actually pretty good. All right, mate, and let's put another shrimp on the bobby here. But if I were to do more accents, and I would try, I'd probably number one, offend people. Number two, embarrass myself, which is cool. And number three, when I try accents, it'll shift from like Australian to like English to like Scottish, and it'll just completely distract us from what we need to learn today. So, all right, mate, we're going to get into this episode where you're going to learn how to watch the World Cup to improve your game. So before we get into that though, like number one, yes, it can improve your game, but also like watching the World Cup, for me, when I was your age a million years ago, back in 99, I was, if I can do the math, I was 8 years old. So you can do the math and see how old I am. I was 8 years old when I was watching the 99 World Cup, which completely changed, I would say, the trajectory of my life, because before that, like, I didn't know what was possible for me in soccer. Like there wasn't much that was on TV, and it's just like, it just wasn't so much of a thing. And then the 99 World Cup, like, they changed everything, not just for soccer players, but for female athletes in general. So it's so important that you watch it just to like find those role models. Like for me, it was Julie Foudy and Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain. And I actually at VCU, I played for Tiffany Roberts at the time. And she was on that team as well. And I got to play for her as a college player, which is so incredibly cool. So to find role models, and then we'll go deep into learning opportunities, but also again, just to promote gender equality, to support women's sports. Like we got to do this together. And then also it's just like so fun, like find your friends, find your teammates, maybe create like a little bracket, go watch the games together at your friend's house, your teammate's house. It can be a great way for you to bond and just build a sense of community with your people. All right, so let's go deep now into how you can get the most out of the World Cup by actually watching it, studying it, and what to study. Okay, so the number one thing is to check out different playing styles. Okay, so take note of how different teams from different countries play the game. Are they more direct? Are they more possession oriented? Like just kind of increase your tactical knowledge by paying attention to playing styles. Ask yourself, how are they moving the ball? What are the positions like? What are their formations, right? What are their attacking strategies? What are their defending strategies? And then as you watch, then you learn, you're going to be able to adapt to different playing styles more as you go to a new coach or maybe a new team. So that's the first one, is to study different playing styles. Number two is to identify and observe different techniques, individual techniques, right? So watch, and this is probably one of the more fun ones, right? But watch the players and like watch their technical ability, their skills, their passes, their moves, their shooting. How do they defend? How do they close down an attacker when an attacker is running full speed at them? How do they close that down, right? How do they get past a player when a defender's coming in hot? What kind of window do they need to actually take a great shot? How do they get around the corner to get a cross off, right? Like pay attention to the individual skills and the decision making with those skills, right? Especially when they're under pressure. And you can learn so much from them and their technique if you really pay attention. Like, yes, we want to have fun and enjoy the game, but you can have fun, enjoy the game, and like pay attention and study, some of these different things that we're talking about here. All right, third thing is to analyze tactics and set pieces. I love set pieces like corners. Watch, especially on corners, right? Watch on corners, watch on free kicks. How do they move, right? What are the runs they're making before they even have the ball into the box? What about the set piece taker? Like, what are they doing? What are the different methods and tactics that they're using, right? Like, pay attention to set pieces because, like, set pieces is obviously such a huge part of the game. That was my favorite part of the game because I was so good at heading. And so if I was going to get goals, it was going to be off of set pieces. So make sure you study set pieces, the technical side of it, but also like how they're setting it up, their movement, and all that good stuff. All right. And then I think this is number 4. I lose track of numbers. Number 4 is to get into the team dynamic. So watch how the teams communicate. When something goes wrong, what do? When they get scored on, what do? Do they come together? Do they yell at each other? Hopefully not, but I'm sure it'll happen. Like, really pay attention to how they communicate, how they collaborate with each other, and how they work together on and off the field. And when I say off the field, I mean like maybe in warm-ups or as they're getting ready for kickoff, water breaks, kind of stuff like that, right? But also, in addition to more of the communication side, is notice like their movement, right? How are they moving together? So let's say if you're a central midfielder, are they always in that triangle, right? Like, notice how they're moving together. The back line, are they kind of on this string where they're always attached? They're moving forward together. They're moving back together. How are the forwards moving in tandem? So get into the team dynamics as far as how are they working with each other and off of each other. And that can be a huge advantage to you as you get in your own game and can see like, okay, I can see on the screen that the defenders are all like super in line. And then when you go play in your game, you could bring that to your own team, bring that to your own game. All right. And then the last one, which I think is number 5, and maybe, of course, I'm going to say it's super crazy important just because I'm biased, but it is to pay attention to their mental game, pay attention to their mentality, right? So besides just the technical stuff, which is easier and more obvious to see, right? Pay attention to how they deal with obstacles and mental challenges. I know I already talked about like after a goal, what does kind of the team do? But notice like a player, when they get beat, what do? When they make a really bad mistake, when they make a bad pass, when they take a bad shot, when they miss a PK, how do they respond to it? Some players, I would say most players, because of the level they're at, will probably respond in a way that you can model. And there's probably going to be some players, even at the pro level, who maybe don't manage the mistakes well and who don't respond in a way that you would necessarily want to model. But just pay attention because the World Cup is like the most high pressure environment that you can have in the sport, right? So watching how athletes stay confident and stay resilient and composed can really teach you a lot about, number 1, what it takes to play at that level mentally, but also it can just teach you so much about different ways that you can learn how to manage mistakes and just manage the ups and downs of the game, right? Like, soccer is such a game of ups and downs and momentum swings and changes of possession and losses of possession. So really pay attention to their body language and to how they handle the ups and downs of the game so that you can take that and apply it and model it into your own game. So I hope this episode was helpful for you. Again, there's so many things that you can learn. So let's do a quick recap of that. Number 1 is to check out the different playing styles of all of the different teams. Like, don't just watch your favorite teams, but try to watch as many games as you can to where you can kind of see various playing styles, right? Number 2 is to observe those individual techniques of the players, maybe especially to like watch your position, right? Or if you play multiple positions, pick a player that plays multiple positions, but pay attention to what they do, how they move with the ball, without the ball. And then the third thing is to analyze tactics, so how they're moving, and then also set pieces. Number 4 is team dynamics. So observe the team dynamics, how they communicate and work with each other. And then the last one, number 5, is to really pay attention to their mindset, their mentality, how they recover from mistakes. So again, Mike, I hope this episode was helpful for you. I don't know what kind of accent that was. If you know, please let me know. And if anyone knows how to do a really good Australian accent and wants to teach me, or any accent for that matter, please let me know. And also, I have some really cool gifts here at my house. And so if you first of all, if you love the episode and you leave a review, and you take a screenshot of it and you send it to me either on Instagram at Shay Haddo, or you can email it to me, shay@alphagirlconfidence.com. So review, screenshot, send it to me. If you send it to me and I get it, then I will send you a gift. I have lots of cool things at the house that I would love to share. So if you want that, send it over, and I'm pretty dang sure that you're going to like what you receive in the mail. So I would love to send that to you. So send a review over. And if this episode was helpful, please also share it with a teammate. Like we talked about, this is such a great time to hang out with your friends, to watch the game, and to just make some fun out of it. So share it with your friends. If you're a coach, share it with your team. Make sure that everyone's locked in and ready to take advantage of the World Cup. That's all I got today. Enjoy the heck out of the games. Enjoy the World Cup. And I will see you next week. All right, mates. See you then.